Hey gang, welcome back to another video. A few years ago, Mrs. Van Oaks and I built a set of columns to go out in front of our haunt that definitely fit the bill. But over the years, we've noticed a few things that we'd want to change about them. One being that we want an easier way to access some of the electronics that are hidden up inside of them. So I've decided to do the unthinkable and put a hole in the backside of our columns. But not just any hole. It'll be a secret panel door. Let me show you what I mean. So these are the middle sections of our columns where we house some of the electronics for our haunt. Mostly power strips and the jack box for our LED spotlights. They're not particularly heavy, but because of their size and how tightly they fit together between the top and foot, they're not exactly easy to deal with when it comes to plugging in power cords. I've wanted to add some kind of hidden panel, but never got around to it, mainly because I couldn't think of a good way to do it that didn't break the illusion of a real brick column. But I'm about to change all of that. I realized that the best approach was to use the brick pattern to hide the seams. They'll hide it well and create a natural break line. So I grabbed a pencil and started outlining where I'd need to cut to give me the best access point. Once I'd figured out the where, it was time to do a bit of disassembly, grab my sawhorses, and do the unthinkable. Cut a hole in my beloved columns. I'm using a multi-tool for this to keep the size of the seam to a minimum. That should help to disguise it a bit more. The one thing I didn't notice while cutting was that my blade wasn't perfectly perpendicular to the surface, and so my cuts were going to require some sanding to make this access panel open and close more easily. So I used my palm sander to smooth out all of the cut lines and edges of the plywood to create a more vertical seam. The next thing I needed to do was to add in a concealed hinge. Since this panel is on the back, I didn't need to go too crazy on the concealment, but I was able to find a narrow hinge that was slightly smaller than my brick pattern and should disappear when installed. Now that the hinge was in place, it was time to figure out how to keep the door closed, but also how to open it, since I didn't want to add a handle or a finger notch. And after a bit of brainstorming and a few purchases and returns to Amazon, I landed on a magnetic push latch. I screwed the latch to a piece of 2x2 with the latch mechanism depressed and aligned with the top of the 2x2 before pre-drilling and screwing it into the inside edge of the panel hole with some 2-inch screws. Then it was just a matter of screwing the metal plate onto the panel door so that it aligned with the latch, and this project was done. I should probably assemble it just to be sure. Now, while I know that there's a lot of you who might be thinking, couldn't you just have put a door? The answer is yes. But isn't it better knowing that it's a secret door? I'd like to think so. Well, that's going to do it for this video. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already, but most importantly, go make something.